folks, welcome back to Dad's shop. Today we're going to be working on this 1909 Lauson. It hasn't ran in about 4 or 5 years probably. The igniter was shot on it, and had a friend of ours replace the points on the igniter, and it would never run again after that, so I ended up sending it out to a guy to have the mica washers and mica tube on the igniter rebuilt, and we just got it back yesterday. We're going to put it back together and see if this thing will start up now. Okay, here's the new igniter, or I guess not new, the rebuilt igniter. Hopefully once that's in there, this old girl will start up again. Let's see here. We'll get this in there, and then I got to remember how to hook up all my wiring on it. It's been a few years. Snug those up a little bit. They don't have to be super tight. It goes into a tapered seat in there. There's no gasket on this at all. It just fits into a tapered seat in the block of the engine. Okay, well, here comes the furnace kicking back on again. Let's see if I can remember how the wiring goes. No matter what I do, my hands are right in between the camera and the igniter, so you're just going to have to put up with my hands getting in the way here. There, Dad just shut the furnace off so it's not making noise. I don't know why it's running anyway. It's not even cold in here. Alright, I got my wiring figured out. It's pretty simple. We've got a coil here. We use a 12 volt automotive coil. We've got our ground wire, comes from the battery box on the back of the engine and comes up and connects right here on the igniter. The positive wire that comes from the back of the engine goes through the windings of that coil and then comes off and goes to the arm up here on the igniter. So that should work. There's no reason why that won't work. Now we just got to put back together the couple of linkages here that run the igniter and the push rod that goes to the exhaust valve. Get those hooked back up. That in there, and then this push rod just folds down. There we go. Pin drops in there. Maybe. There we go. Now when this, I'll get the camera in here as close as I can. I'm going to crank this over. That arm pushes forward on that trip lever, and then it'll trip and should make it spark. I don't know if that air is leaking around the igniter or if it's leaking through the igniter, through the stem that goes through the igniter. But it definitely sounds like it's leaking some air when it's coming up on compression. I don't know where that's leaking from for sure. I'll have to check a little closer on that and see if I can figure out where that's leaking. Okay, it is leaking a little bit of air around the shaft of the igniter that goes into the cylinder, but I don't know if there's much I can do about that. I would imagine after it runs for a while, that'll probably get some carbon buildup in there and quit leaking. But since it's been apart and put back together and is old and had 1,000,000 hours of runtime on it, it's probably just going to leak by there a little bit, but we're still going to see if we can get it to start up. Got to put a little bit of gas in it. I pulled the fuel line off and it had no fuel in it at all, so it doesn't have old rotten fuel in it at least. Well, we'll see if that's enough to get fuel down to the carburetor. Down here, you can see where the carburetor is. I can open up the fuel valve and then hold this up and see if we get any fuel start to flow in there. And it is. I don't know if the camera picked it up, but it's getting fuel to the carburetor. If I remember right, we just flip that lever forward a little bit to retard the timing so that it doesn't try to kick backwards. Get a little prime of fuel down into the carburetor. If it starts, I'm going to have to get some water to get dumped in it pretty quick. Well, that's encouraging.
The most is done for a long time.
Let's flip that lever back just a little bit. There we go. She's back up and running for the first time in several years. Go back and get some water to dump in it. Dad's already on the way with water. That doesn't need to be in there. Yeah, that's enough. That's got the cylinder covered. Uh-oh. What did I do?
You took that squeeze thing out of the tank.
Now, what have we got going on here? Got something sparking up here. I could see when I was cranking it. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That is shorting out against that
Oh.
bolt, the head of that bolt. So I'm gonna have to find some way to space that so that it stays over a little bit farther. Open the compression release in case it was flooded and cranked it a couple times. So now try it again. All right, what the heck's going on here now? Okay, we got the engine running again. We had a couple of issues with the rebuild igniter. I'll get right down in here close so you can see. The little arm that comes up and trips the point, or trips the lever for the points on it, was hitting on the nut where it goes to the mica washers and stuff to go through to the points and grounding out. That was part of the issue. So I got that spaced out to where that's not hitting anymore. The other part of the issue was the spring on there was so worn out that the points it wasn't holding it tight enough to close the points good and tight, so we weren't getting good contact on the points. Fixed both of those things and it started right back up then. Now it's sitting here running good. I'm not positive. I'll have to look back through my pictures from old pressures, but it may have been 4 or 5 years since we've had this engine running down there. Well, we had to relocate to outside. The smoke alarm's having a shit fit over there. So, oh, it quit. Never mind. So we moved it outside. It's a little less loud and a little better light out here anyway. It's sitting out here running good. New igniter, or rebuilt igniter, is working perfect. Well folks, thanks for watching. As always, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Leave a comment, hit the like button if you would like to. And come back later for more videos. We'll keep making more for you. Thanks for watching.